Good evening, televiewers, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of our program, Mountain Echoes. Tonight, we shall be joining our six brothers, elderly priests, who have been appointed to the order of Monsignors in the Diocese of Buea, to share with the public, to share with the viewers, what is it all about. For the first time in the Diocese of Buea, we shall be having this ceremony officially, and like we are told, it is a ceremony or an act in which someone is officially given a rank or title or office or honor, of course, in the church setting. And in someone has said in summary, it is we call it the act by which a Catholic priest is granted the honorary title of Monsignor by the Pope. Of course, these are brothers, elderly priests, where this was granted to them by late Pope Francis, and it's often upon the recommendation of the bishop. Of course, Bishop Michael Bibi did that. We have Panjikan with us today. Of course, he did philosophy, he did theology. We have Mr. Bo, Dr. Bate, and Father Florentin. They'll be joining us on that. And we shall get messages from the Monsignor themselves, Monsignor Moses Tazo, Monsignor Martin Muma, Monsignor Sebastian Fonsa, Monsignor Jude Thaddeus Mbi, Monsignor Ngalamen Edward, and Monsignor John Chamda. Those are the six Monsignor that were appointed by the Holy Father, blessed memory Pope Francis. Panjikan, good evening and welcome to this very special edition that we shall be joining our brothers tomorrow to celebrate with them, their families, to celebrate with them, to say thank you to God for the services they have put on in the church so far, and this new function that is being given to them through the bishop from the Pope himself.
Thank you very much for that, Ernest, and thanks very much to your good sense that you always think that should be part of such a sensitive issue and such a glamorous one, that I have to give my voice and add my voice to the good news that came to our diocese that was given to us by Bishop Bibi Michael. I remember the day the Deanery of Peace was celebrating part of the 75th anniversary of the diocese. Bishop Bibi announced it in Regina Pacis Cathedral with small support. So thank you very much, and I'm very, very elated to be part of it, especially to talk about it when I have one of my classmates, Father Sebastian Fonsa, was my classmate, and my own small Father Johnny Chamda, my elder brother, but he was my small as far as studies are concerned. He was younger than me in Bishop Rogan in the major seminary. He was my small, but even though my elder brother. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. And of course, my big, Monsignor Duangalame. I was his small. I carried his handbag when he was ordained. I was the one who was helping him around the place. So I was his small. Congratulations to them, and we once more want to dove our hat to them for all the work they did, which merited recognition. And Bishop Bibi Michael identified them and wrote to His Holiness Pope Francis of blessed memory that this people should be recognized. I'll be happy to talk about it, and I will say a few things. The last time I heard about Monsignor in the diocese was when we had Monsignor James Toba and Monsignor Lucas Atang. And we never had such a public investiture than we are going to witness tomorrow. So it is a wonderful thing that we're having this, and some of us will write books about it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Panjikan. We have Mr. Bo also. Mr. Bo Ivo, good evening and welcome to this very special edition.
Good evening, Father, and good evening, Chief Panjikan. Good evening, televiewers of Divine Mercy Radio TV. We wish to appreciate your effort to watch us during this great program. The investor of Monsignors, as the Chief rightly said, it is something new in Buea Diocese. I was about to remark the same thing that we used to hear of Monsignor James Toba and Monsignor Lucas Atang for many years. When they died, it seems the issue of Monsignors died. And they have been revamped, as we have 6, not 2, for several years, which we have been having. 6. I happen to be very close to almost all of them. And I think that the recommendation by the bishop to these special men of God who had sacrificed the Lord because they say a Monsignor is somebody who has given relentless, dedicated service to the church. And those were one of the last things Pope Francis was able to grant before his demise, before he traveled to the journey beyond. I wish to congratulate Monsignor Ngalame Edward, with whom we are there, and Monsignor Moses Tazo. We are members of the Bishorogan family. We are proud to say that. I got in touch with Monsignor Ngalame at Bangem when Father Bo Alucius was parish priest of Bazeng. Yes, we passed through Mwambong, went to visit him. Father Jan Ngwa was his curate. Yeah, his efforts and gentlemanliness and many other things, I've been able to project him all that. I know Monsignor Moma Martin, Monsignor John Chamda, Monsignor Mbi, Sylvester Fonsa. We have worked in Lumko, and then Monsignor Mbi, Thaddeus of the Foyer, which is extra sacrifice that they have made. I wish to appreciate the Bishop of Boya, Bishop Bibi Michael, for not covering his eyes on certain issues. His eye seems to be very, very wide on several domains, which I think that to have recommended, to have recognized the efforts of these great men of God is applaudable.
Yeah, thank you very much. While we, before we introduce Father Florentin, Kindness, can you give us the little peek on that and for showcasing what happens, what's going to happen tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Co-Cathedral site, Kindness? Who are those who join to celebrate? Thank you.
Join us this Thursday, May 15, for the investiture mass of the 6 newly appointed Monsignors taking place at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Moliko, beginning at 9 a.m.
The first Monsignor, Monsignor Martin Donny Muma. Then we get Monsignor John Chamda. Then we get Monsignor Jude Thaddeus Mbi. Then we get Monsignor Moses Tazo. Then we get Monsignor Sebastian Fonsa. And we get Monsignor Edward Ngalame.
The Mass will be officiated by His Lordship Michael Bibi, Bishop of Boya.
We get for prepare all their Monsignors to turn them, their beretta them, their sash them, everything.
This is a moment to officially welcome and celebrate our Monsignors into the diocese. Let us come together in faith and unity.
All we will come for Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral for witness their investiture.
Don't miss out on this sacred and historic occasion.
Much Kindness. That is invitation to the public, to all of us, and especially to the viewers of Mountain Echoes. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Co-Cathedral site to celebrate with our brothers, to celebrate with our friends, to celebrate with our neighbors, to celebrate with our priests, you know, and equally to celebrate with our bishop, of course, this historic event. Some of us, we got to know Monsignor Lucas Ade Atang of Blessed Virgin memory. We got to know Monsignor James Toba of Blessed memory also. I don't know what happened. Panjika is going to tell us, because that was his generation. Father Florentin and I don't know. We just saw them and we called them Monsi also. We just called them Monsi. We never witnessed what happened. We don't know if that same occasion happened like what we're going to have tomorrow. I'm sure this is, we witnessed something like that in Bamenda. Father, I'm sure, with the, you know, with the Monsignor that we have in the Archdiocese of Bamenda, and but in the Diocese of Buea, nothing has been, so this time around is, you know, come and see. Anyway, good evening, Father Florentine, and welcome to this very special edition.
Good evening, Father. Good evening, fellow panelists. Good evening to all the viewers of Divine Mercy Radio Television. And it's a pleasure for me to be here again today, and especially to talk about this exciting reality in the Diocese of Buea, which is making waves. You know, the issue of the Monsignors that were recently appointed by the Holy Father and whose investiture will take place tomorrow. And like Father said, since the demise of the previous two Monsignors we had, this reality of Monsignors has been strange to the diocese. Unlike the Archdiocese of Bamenda, where it has been current, and like Father was saying, like Panjikan was saying, there are many Monsignors there already. I remember a couple of years ago when the investiture took place.
It was you know, come and see.
Yeah, actually, that was done by the present Archbishop Andrew Nkea.
Yeah.
And one of the most remarkable among them, that's my own judgment, is Monsignor John Ambe, John Bosco Ambe, who for a very long time was the director of the major seminary in Bambi. So I think our 6 Monsignors also tomorrow are coming to Dunkwe. I don't know how
that's the problem. I'm sure.
So this what we are having tomorrow, I think, is going to put us on the same pedestal as the Archdiocese of Bamenda. Because from tomorrow the decorum of the Diocese of Buea will be different, especially when we have diocesan masses. On the procession line, you see a clear difference from tomorrow. So far we have been seeing the difference. They have been standing before the bishop,
but not with the regalia.
So from tomorrow you see the difference. So I think tomorrow is going to mark the beginning of something new.
It's a kind of a historic event in the Diocese of Buea. We want to thank immensely the bishop who witnessed wisdom, you know, to for pray and you figure out this person, this brotherly priest, and to beg from Rome that the Pope to look at these persons, and that was done. We thank him also for taking that initiative. We want to thank him immensely for that. Like I said, we had other 2 persons. We have Dr. Bate with us. Doctor, good evening. And I'm sure Panjikan and yourself with Mr. Bo, you have to tell us little about Monsignor Lucas Adeatang and Monsignor James Toba was in Sase. We saw him as kids.
Toba was in Bujongo.
So
many years.
Dr. Bate, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, fellow panelists, and good evening, Father. Good evening, Father Florentine, and televiewers of JMR TV. It's another opportunity to share the little knowledge and to enlighten our beloved viewers who are always glued to their TV set to gather knowledge about their faith and about church doctrine and teaching. This event of tomorrow, I think it will be the second one I'll be witnessing as an adult, because the first one I witnessed was in the Diocese of Mamfe when the then bishop at the time, Bishop Andrew Nkea, who is currently the Archbishop of Bamenda Archdiocese, was investing Father Martin Kima. That was the first time I saw the investiture of a Monsignor. Before that ceremony, I used to believe, the thought I had, I'm sure many who have that same thought, that the title of a Monsignor was given to a priest whose name featured among those who were supposed to be selected a bishop in a diocese. And once
we knew that after that,
yes, 1, 2, 3 times.
And then when you miss 1, 2, 3 times, they don't hang it.
They just dash it out.
And that occasion changed that mentality, because I came to meet Monsignor James Tuba of blessed memory. I was a mass servant at that time. And then I served mass with Monsignor Lucas Atantu in Bota for a very long time. So I think that this one that we are seeing, we can teach our children and teach other people, and we are living it live. And I think that each time when an event, a diocesan event is happening, I look at one person personally. I analyze one person, his foresight, and his wisdom and the way the Holy Spirit is using him. I know other person than the Bishop of the Boya Diocese. Because I remember vividly one of his very first masses in Moliko, he said, I'll use the same word. I don't come Moliko, I don't come for Boya, for can walk with Tuna. And I want change thing there for Boya. I know if you change, I mean one if I know there for my back. And we are seeing that. And I think that as the older diocese in the country is befitting that the Holy See should have said, okay, now let's also give them this first gift while waiting for other ones, because when we celebrated our 75th anniversary, the next day the Pope appeared. God gave us a new Pope, and I think that on his table he's going to see Boya there. So I think this event is an opportunity for those who are living now to witness it, because like Father already said, the decor is something different. You see a priest living from white soutane maybe to black soutane, or a white soutane with
red buttons.
With red buttons. And you see, it's a blessing to the diocese. 5 at once, 5 at once. So it's a blessing, and I think that
six.
And I think that the diocese is now reaffirming its position as the mother diocese.
Yeah.
So someday, like I was telling somebody in the car this evening, that the next thing we are waiting for the new Pope to tell us that he has listened to our prayer is that we have an archdiocese, but our diocese archdiocese.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Bati, for that. While, like I said, all of us are looking forward for the ceremony tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Co-Cathedral side, where we will be witnessing 6 of our brother priests, elderly priests, of course. Investiture of them as Monsignor, Father Florentine, maybe, to clear the coast, clear the dust, yeah. Could you just tell the viewers little about this whole thing of this whole Monsignor issue to the viewers about it? Some persons, they know that maybe after this they'll be ordained bishops, or maybe or maybe to send to Rome. Maybe just like to clarify them. They saw Monsignor James Toba and Monsignor Lucas Adeyatang, and like Bati said, when I grew up, I saw them. I knew that after them, or maybe after some years, they'll become bishops. That's what I knew. So I don't know, maybe with this, some other Christians too may have that in mind. So you better maybe make it clear to them what means, what is the meaning of this whole thing, this title given to this our brother priest.
Thank you very much, Father, for cueing me in. I think the program which we have now is a very educative program, and which is very necessary. We cannot stop educating. Because if I remember well, a couple of days after the announcement that was done on the 29th of March this year of the Monsignors, the Chancellor of the Diocese and the Private Secretary were here for a program to this effect, and they obviously explained many things in that light. But I would like to say, despite that, there are still many people who till today still fall into some of those confusions. Like for instance, recently there have been many people, the WhatsApp fora, interpersonal discussions, who argue, and some of them stand out of the opinion that these our brothers who have been raised to Monsignor, they are some sort of bishops. And some of them say no, they are not bishops, and the discussions have actually been heated. And I think our presence here this evening is really to clarify all of those things. The first thing which we are saying is that our brother priests who are going to receive their investiture tomorrow have not been appointed bishops. Okay. Yeah. The title of a Monsignor is an honorary title in the church. It's not by law. It's an honorary title in the church which they have been given, and it does not confer unto them the power of others. It's an honorary title which the church gives them in recognition for the work they have done over several years, and also following certain other criteria that the church lays down, like they have to be in good standing, they need to be at least 65 years of age. That's a reform which was brought recently by Pope Francis, and all of those things. So I think this is just to clarify those who have been thinking that tomorrow we'll have the ordination of six bishops in the diocese. No, they are not bishops. They remain priests. They remain priests, but they have been given an honorary title. And I would also like to say that although they are not bishops, but they will also assist the bishop in his pastoral work in the diocese to make things lighter. And there are certain functions or certain occasions where the bishop could designate them to represent him. And I would like to cite the sacrament of confirmation. The canon law gives provision for a priest. You know, in our province here, the practice show from what we traditionally we have gone up to know that it's only the bishop that confers that sacrament, but canonically there is a possibility for a priest to confer it with the permission of his bishop. And I'm one of the examples. I was confirmed, I think, in 2008 by one of the monsignors. Now, at that time, we used to call him Monsignor Galame by virtue of his office as the Vicar General then. But now he has been confirmed. So he's the one. He confirmed us in St. Andrew's Parish Munya that year, having received permission from Bishop Bushu at that time, who was in Nigeria, to talk about Jopasit, which had just been created. So I'm saying that to let us know that these monsignors, they are not bishops, but I think in the pastoral life of the church, there are certain instances where they could be sent, mandated by the bishop to represent him for certain things which fall within their capacity or their powers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Father. You just made mention of the fact that you were confirmed by Monsignor Edward Galame. By then he was, is it the Vicar General?
He was a Vicar General of diocese, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes. So Panjikan, could you maybe make a distinction between that? Is it that maybe with because many persons grew up calling him Monsi, and this time around, is it that they are giving a double Monsignor, or what happened by then? Is it that there are some titles that come with your function? Could you explain that to the viewers?
Thank you very much, Father. I think Father Florentine has said it very, very clearly there. It was by virtue of his function as Vicar General and other attributes that he had. He was being delegated the bishop on so many instances in a number of things. As far as schools were concerned, he was always going to represent the bishop at the time. So the bishop gave him some of these powers, attributes. We remember we also had Monsignor Patrick Lafon, of blessed memory too, by virtue of his function in the National Episcopal Conference. And some recently too, some were talking about Monsignor Javis Kebe. You know, by virtue of their functions, the church insists that the title of Monsignor is an honorary title for Florentine side. It's not a rank. It's not a rank. It's an honorary title for something that you have done for a Florentine side adequately, for what some meritorious thing you have done, and it depends on the bishop's goodwill, the local ordinary's goodwill. It is at his discretion to propose you to the Holy See for this kind of recognition, and which of course it goes along with a certain procedure. He must supply your curriculum vitae, your biography. It must be written. Your biography must be written. Your code of conduct, things about your attitude, your conduct must be there, must be spelled out. Your names, your surnames, and a bit of history about you must be written. The bishop must say this, and he must give indicators of your services, your good service that you have rendered. So these were things that were done with Monsignor Galame and the rest of them. But at the time, as I said, it was just by virtue of their function. This was not in virtue of which the Holy See has endorsed, has to do with this kind of procedure, which was said to the Holy See, and the Holy See endorsed. After the bishop had sent it, the Holy See looked at it and said, okay, we can recommend them, we can propose them, but they remain priests. They are priests. They are not superior priests. They are not bigger priests than Father Florentine or Father Epang. They're all equally priests. But per the functions they are given, they may be given other attributes to go and officiate in some other thing by the bishop, which the bishop would deem necessary. It is not composed, it's not inscribed. It is the bishop's good sense, and like let me borrow domestic terminology here, the goodwill of the bishop that he will assign them to do it. So these were not, they were not bishops, they were not small bishops, but they were just being given this attribute because of the kind of things they were doing, the kind of work they were doing. And you remember before we had this other one, we had monsignors before in this diocese. In the early days, the Palatine fathers had a monsignor. In fact, the one was Monsignor Campling, 1922 to 1925. 1922, 1925. From Nigeria, he was the one who ran the Diocese of Boya, the whole of southern Cameroon at the time, 1922. We had Monsignor Peter Rogan. He was a Monsignor before he became bishop. He was a Monsignor. Even before then, we had Monsignor Heinrich Weiter in 1890. The Palatine in 1890. Father, thanks very much. 1890, who landed in Douala. These were Monsignors. They were people who were designated by virtue of the fact that they had special attributes or special assignments being given them. They were called Monsignors. And so, but tomorrow that is not the case, not special attributes. It is that they have been recognized for some meritorious work, some services they have rendered, which the bishop, through his good sense, has deemed necessary that they should be recognized and be given these attributes. And of course, the dressing they put on will make all the difference. I used to think that Monsignor Teva was a bishop because he insisted on his honor. He never officiated on the line without wearing this, and never you stand behind him. I used to be MC when I was in major seminary, and for most ordinations and other things, I was master of ceremonies. I noticed that very often, and he would tell tell that father to go in front. No, nobody should be behind me.
With a very nice voice like that. Anyway, before we get to Dr. Bati and Mr. Bo, Father Florentine, still to you. There's no news to us that we had Monsignor Paul Nyaga and Monsignor James Difon, who works at the Episcopal Conference. And Father Javis was there. By then, it was Monsignor Javis. You know, we still call, and I'm sure for that sector, when it was the Bishop Secretary, they called Monsignor. Could you just tell the viewers, to maybe make maybe clarity more on those kind of functions? Like you said, Monsignor Galamin, and after all of a sudden he was not. Can you maybe expatiate on that? Actually, because they do not put on the regalia, but they are called Monsignor, like Monsignor Paul Nyaga. And they do not have the cassock with the red pipings and red buttons by the side and the rest.
When we get into canonical considerations, there are certain titles in the church which you have de jure, that's by law, ex officio, by virtue of your function, which is different from what we have at hand now. The title of Monsignors we're talking about now is a honoris causa, I think, something of that sort. Yeah, it's an honorary title. So there have always been debates as to whether those functions, like the Secretary of the Episcopal Conference, like Vicar General, there have always been debates whether those functions automatically confer on the individual the title of Monsignor and all of that. And the debate is still open. I would not really like to get
I hope Pope Leo the 14th is not coming to pick up something on that.
Yeah, it's true. The church, actually, obviously the church, I think the church has taken a stand about that, but we need to get into more research to know. It will not be good to say.
Anyway, Father, we'll be coming to that. It's alright,
Yeah, but I think before we continue, it will be good also for us maybe to trace the history or the origin of this word Monsignor. Yeah. From etymology, it could be traced back to Italian, which means Monsignore, the Italian word Monsignore, which means my Lord, or Monseigneur in French, which still means my Lord, or even in Latin, Dominus, it's still Lord, or in Greek, Kyrios, that can be translated to Lord, Master, or Owner. That's from the point of view of its etymology. Now, with respect to the history of the church, it can be traced back to the Avignon papacy. And here again, I would like to give thumbs up to our formidable church history teacher in the seminary, Father Tanka
Joseph,
Father Joseph Tanka, who when he was teaching us, you really see that it flows from him. He has it at his fingertip. The Avignon papacy, the title and the practice even of having monsignors dates as far back as that time. That's the 14th century, when about 7 popes, instead of staying in Rome, he remained. I think it could tie with what we just had recently. The new pope we had, Pope Leo the 14th. Imagine, just to let us understand what happened at that time. Imagine that he decides now that he will not stay in Rome and he will stay somewhere else, maybe in France, Avignon. That what happened at that time. And there was a succession of about 7 popes there before they returned to Rome. So at that time, the practice was that the priests who were part of the Pope's Curia, and some other priests also who had legal functions, they used to call them Monsignor. And also there was a move that the priests who were the special advisors of the bishop of the Pope at that time should be some sort of bishops and all of that, and bishops without territory and all of that. Yeah, so that's where the move came. But the concern was that how would they give a bishop make someone a bishop without him having a territory.
Yeah.
And even if he has a territory and is working in home, he will be far from his flock and all of those things. So those are the instances that gradually led to the institution of this title, Monsignor. And I think that will also enable us to explain what we have already explained, that they are not bishops. They are not bishops. It's just an honorary title. Yeah. So I think that's what we could say for now about the origin and etymology of.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Bate and Mr. Bo. Could you just tell the viewers a little about this whole thing of Monsignor? What are you like expecting tomorrow? You know, you've been looking forward to that. You came and met Monsignor James Tobai, blessed memory, Monsignor Lucas Adea Tank already in their regalia, you know, and you didn't see what happened. What are your expectations tomorrow, you know, with this whole event?
Well, it's an expectation of joy. That's the first thing. An expectation of joy that you are going to live the event live, and then at a time when the church in Boya is moving to a different dimension, it's going through transformation in all aspects. And I think that for those who have never witnessed, you are going to see this senior priests where they are with the red buttons, which will look similar to that of what the bishop wears, but for the fact that they don't have the mitre and the crozier. And in the teaching of the church, the office of priesthood has three orders. We have the diaconate, the priesthood, and then the episcopate. So this title does not belong. It's not an order. It doesn't belong to any of this one. So it should not be like we are going to have assistant bishops. And the teaching of the church says there's only one bishop in a diocese, and so we are not going to have 6 others, 6 assistants, or they will be giving special posts now in the management of the church in the diocese, like maybe put them a key position. No, it's just an acknowledgement that these people have sacrificed. And I think that as I was reflecting this afternoon on this topic, I said it takes a leader who is humble to recognize another person who has put in a lot of time and energy in a service that he also is. Because when you look at all these priests who will be vested tomorrow, I'm sure all of them have been in the priesthood not less than 35 years. Not less than 35 years. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so you can see that the bishop has put in 25 years. He comes and sees his senior brothers, even though he is leading them, he is the head, they pay allegiance to him, he gives them that respect. And it goes back to the biblical allusion, give to Caesar what Caesar's. I think our shepherd is teaching us to put scriptures into practice. So it teaches the younger priests that when you are ordained to the institute, it is often said that everybody is ordained according to the order of Melchizedek. They are all priests. But it teaches the younger priests to that when you go to a parish or you go somewhere, you see an older priest, give him the respect. Give him that respect. Because that's what the shepherd, the chief shepherd of the diocese has just, for me, that's what he has done. That's my thought. That's my thinking. That's what he has done to this older priest. And they too, I think, where they are now, they have that satisfaction, inner satisfaction, and they can easily collaborate now on the presbyterium to guide their younger brother in this wide field of leading God's people or taking God's people away from darkness to bring them to light.
Dr. Bate, let me take it from your lips there. You talked about that the younger priests should respect the older ones, especially these monsignors who, from tomorrow, we shall start seeing them in procession with the bishop, where they've come on the procession. Yeah. Junioribus, senioribus, as they say in Latin, Father Florentine, junioribus, senioribus. Yeah. Then you get to the bishop. Yeah. We shall see that tomorrow. And I'm at pain saying this, Father, and I would like to say it here. I equally take to the vicar for the clergy that I really want to see him and we'll talk on something different. And since Dr. Bata has given me a clue, let me say it here. I was a very, very unhappy witness to a young priest talking to an elderly priest in a very callous manner. And without blinking, he talked to him in so mean terms. I was present. And I even had to hush down the younger priest, talking to an elderly priest, by far much elder than him. He was talking to him anyhow. Where is the respect? Where is that respect of an elder brother? And I told him, I said, no, it shouldn't be. The younger priest should respect the elder priest. And I told him, like I said, I mentioned it to the Father Bartholomew and Nyawood already, that I would like to see him. God, if I, as a layman, thank God I passed through the same formation, I could feel so bad about it. What more of even ordinary Christian who has never even gone through that was a witness to that. That would have been very, very sad. So I think these monsignors are coming tomorrow. They owe them respect. The young priests owe them respect. You should respect them. The bishop has respected them. He has asked the Pope to recognize them and to give them this particular rank. And so with the rest of us, we should be a little bit careful. Not, in fact, you did that to Monsignor Toba and you stepped on his toe, he will call you to order. I worked with him, I taught with him in Bojongo when he was principal of Government Technical High School, Bojongo. St. Paul's Technical High School, Bojongo. I taught with him. So I'm just trying to say that, I'm at pain to say this, that we should, this respect should go down the drain, and the younger priest should learn to respect the elder ones, and especially now the monsignors have come in. I think the clergy the vicar for the clergy should put his feet on the ground and let it be respected and respected to the letter.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much. I'm sure this time is for Mr. Bull. Everybody has been talking about the Monsignor and the Monsignore, the Dominus and you know, my Lord, and so on and so forth. What do you have for the viewers as far as this investiture tomorrow, which will begin at 9 o'clock?
Just before Mr. Bull steps in front of your permission, this is the kind of thing we have in civil government, in civil society too. 20th May is coming. We all aware. You'll be talking about it, and I think one of these days you'll be calling a panel to talk about 20th May. 20th May is coming where people will be recognized by the government. They're giving award of medals. We'll talk about award of medals for work for meritorious services rendered. Gabriel sitting here have been recognized by the government. In fact, Mr. Boy, you have the right to call me Sir Gabriel Njika, because in fact that's my title. I've been given a medal of recognition. I'm a knight. I've been knighted by the Cameroon government.
Is it a bronze or a silver medal?
Knight. I've had a silver medal here.
It's all right, Panjika. We'll be coming to that. Mr. Bo, you have the conch. You know, what do you tell the viewers about as far as that is concerned? Why we call kindness to prepare the box pop-up for two among the four monsignors that we interviewed a couple of days ago.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very exciting moment for the Boya Diocese and myself. I remember Archbishop Nkea, Andrew, we call it in our dialect Nkee. That's how the Bangla people mention it. When he was teaching us canon law, this issue came up. We asked a question that this issue of Monsignor, how is it? He told us that somebody issued Monsignor, given Monsignor, is offered what we call the papal bull.
Yeah.
It comes right from Rome, an official document with a seal to indicate that this is a Monsignor. You don't just get up, call anybody on the street a Monsignor. No, there are some priests who accept that, and they're not supposed to accept it. They're not supposed to. He said you must. I quite remember he mentioned one time, he said, Monsignor James Toba of blessed memory. One time he went to Rome, and then he had the opportunity. There are some areas that priests don't go beyond. When he went beyond, there were some bishops. Then he called him and indicated, they said, oh, I have been able to move to this area because of the honorary title offered to me. So that honorary title of Monsignor is something very significant in the church. And we have been having one or two for so many years. Many people sometimes are not able to witness what is going on now, and we are able to. There's that exciting moment, even within me, and I think that a good number of Christians in Boya Diocese will get to know that. And the history of the church, coincidentally, it is falling within the era where they are celebrating their 75th anniversary. It's a constant period of celebrations, and we thank God for that. It is a big achievement. The priesthood itself is something very delicate. I quite remember our side bishop, Bushu, Emmanuel, Emeritus, that he said, this thing has some very delicate work, for handle souls and for people. It is delicate. And if such individuals, these respectable individuals, respectable persons, clergy of the church, have been able to sacrifice so greatly within their life for such a long and persistently, it is not easy. We need to join God to thank God for them and to support them in these celebrations. Father, I think that is all I can say concerning that. You know, and as we said, again, in the other domain, individuals who have been earmarked once and again for bishopry may, in a certain extent, I don't know, be able to be rewarded. I quite remember in one of our classes they mentioned that, but it's not like a law. It's not like a law. This one is different. It's not a law, because people who are cited, I wish to still quote the Archbishop. I'm talking this live. It is within our class in the canon law in the Ethiopian state. It comes because even aspect of nominations come with work, with service, and so might have had situations of being rewarded for their work done in a way like this. Their attire is also what interests me.
Yeah.
Their attire. I always remember the thin voice of the Monsignor James Toba during ordination. My Lord, the Bishop of Boya, when they ask candidate for
find a wording.
For the election of candidates.
Yes. My Lord, the Bishop of Boya, after consulting those who are in charge with the formation and the people of God, I do consider them worthy. With that statement, each time during ordination, I get that nostalgia, even though not a priest. But I always like to be present to listen to Monsignor James Toba during this memo. Yes.
With a small voice.
With his small voice. And then he brings in color. Yes. And we see the procession for them. They are dressed with the red buttons. And Archbishop Nkea told us, then we do have that official red button. It should actually show it is not a superior priest, as my dad it's put it there, Chief Njikang, but it is just to show that honor, that your service has been recognized and even right to Rome. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate. Let me play devil's advocate here. Let me play the devil's advocate here. One of those who think that it is a compensation for frustrated priests.
I've never heard of that.
It's all right. We'll be coming back to that. For the Florentine, do not mind more about Panjikan. Kindness, I'm sure you have something. We'll be talking about these priests whom we're going to celebrate with them tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Cool Cathedral site. We met with some of them, for at least out of the 6 Monsignor courageous hear from them their own vocation story, how they feel about this whole honorary title given to them by Pope Francis and through their bishop. What, can we just get maybe 1 or 2 of them first, and then we get the other 2 after? Thank you, kindness.
I am called Monsignor Martin Muma. I actually started picking on my vocation when I was in St. Peter's School, Bambui, in the 60s. So after that, I went to Bishop Logan College, minor seminary, the year 1967. From there, I proceeded to the major seminary in Bambui, St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary. I was ordained by Bishop Pius Suawa on the 18th of April 1982. So I'm 43 years plus as a priest. I'm very happy that I'm a priest. I've had many appointments, in fact 14. I've worked in different parishes, had different responsibilities, school managers and the rest of them. I've had challenges, but as Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 says, I can do everything with the strength of him who empowers me. I've tried to do that. And with the grace of God, as I've been appointed Monsignor, I hope to take up the duties, responsibilities I'll be given by the church. And I pray for the church, the priest, the bishop, and I also ask them to pray for them. Thank you so much.
I'm Monsignor Moses Tazo. I was born in a village in a family that they didn't know much about Jesus Christ. They knew about God and the God that we worship. And when I entered the Presbyterian school, I started hearing about Jesus in the Sunday school. So after that, I came to Limbe, where I entered the Catholic school. Then I started hearing about Our Lady. And then my friends were in class, were Mass boys, and I felt that to also spend Mass with them. Then I was baptized, and I began to serve at Mass, and the idea of becoming a priest was coming very strong to my mind. So therefore, I decided now to tell my brother that I would like to be a priest, although my family did not seem to understand what it's all about. But eventually, when I entered the seminary, they kept asking me to come back to withdraw, but they didn't like it. The idea that I was not going to marry, they didn't understand. Eventually, I was ordained in Fontaine against the wishes of many people. But when I became a priest, I started working, and after 3 years, I was surprised. My father asking me, how many years did I sign for this work? Because he cannot understand that I will not marry, that I will not be at home. And I kept telling him, I'm going to have my own children, many children whom I will look after and I'll bring up. And of course, I was thinking about the church where I will have more children and more people to serve. And I think, but by the time my father died, it's like he gave into everything. He just said, that's my call, that's what it is. But I still have friends, family members who still thought that maybe I missed my way. But I think eventually my family accepted, and I've been working, doing my best. I started in Chico, I went to Siango, from Siango I went to Moyeka. Moyeka I went to with the brothers in Bojongo. After Bojongo, I came back to Mutingene. After spending 3 years in England, I came back. And then while in Mutingene, I was asked to take over Panorama. So I came to Guyana and I was working in the printing press and Institute of Panorama. From there, I went back to Moyeka again. After Moyeka this time, I went to Newtown. I was a fire priest of Newtown. After Newtown, I came back. I was now director of the radio, Divine Mercy Radio. Then after that, I did 1 year as financial secretary. After that again, I was asked to be the director of School of Prayer. And when the new bishop came now, I was asked to come to Bishop Oregon as spiritual director, and that's where I am right now. And recently, the Holy Father gave me this appointment as Monsignor. And when I got this appointment, just one day, I was not expecting anything again. I was just looking forward to when I would retire and then settle down. But this appointment for me seems to be the same what I have to do. I'm giving more responsibilities, and I see the field wider, a lot of areas that I have to cover. But I think with the help of God, I will still do the best I can to continue to work in the vineyard. I still think I have the strength and I still have the knowledge to do more for the church. And I thank God that I have this opportunity to explain more about my life, to live the vocation that I chose, and pray that God may give me the strength and the grace to continue to do whatever thing the church will ask me to do. And I think today, as we receive our command to go ahead, I think I'm ready to do whatever thing the church will ask me to do.
Your Kindness, could we just get that of Monsignor Sebastian and Monsignor Jude Thaddeus B, and then we proceed with the other part of our program tonight. Thank you very much, Kindness.
I am Sebastian Bonsa. Now, Monsignor Sebastian Bonsa. I started my vocation journey in Tico, RCM, in 1964. I was in class 2. And then the vocation master and director and mentor was Father Peter Druk. That's a famous name for many who have become priests and are still alive. Because he was very kind and friendly. He ushered us on, showed us the value of being priest, and he showed it in his own work. And then after the primary school, I had no money, my parents have no money. So he said, let them pay part, let them bring what they have, and he will continue to support. That's how he took off. And for that, Liliver, the rector of minor seminary in Stockholm, admitted me into the minor seminary in Stockholm. That's how we began, 1969, 70. So until 77, when I graduated with the A-levels from Stockholm, we moved straight to the seminary. So 1977, we're in Bambwe, and then I finished Bambwe after 9 years, because I had 7 long years plus 2 on probation. So that makes it 9. I never gave up, because I had Father Duke and my corner giving me the push to go on. So that was for me the joy of having accompanied me till ordination day. And I showed the man's joy on day of ordination. I was so excited, more than my parents, to show her this is somebody I'm nurtured and he is singing up well. So 1985 I was ordained deacon for the Diocese of Boya. And then 86 ordained priest for the Diocese of Boya by Bishop Awa. That far appointment, the first appointment was to Bangem, Ave Maria. Second appointment to Akwaya St. Joseph. Third appointment St. Joseph Muyuka. Next appointment St. Joseph Tico. Next appointment Holy Family Limbe. So that down the line, I've gone around. I don't know when that is. I only went to my town and Boya town. Those are the major parishes that they work before the creation of the new dioceses. That's why I've been enjoying my priesthood with the tough road therein. But with God's support, God's blessing, we have never given up the fight. It was a tough road, and I say please Him, because no one takes this task upon himself. With the grace of God, we're going this far. Are you okay with that, Pam?
I am a priest. I am a spiritual father to the community of Foyer de Charité, and in that capacity I am charged with giving spiritual guidance, preaching retreats, and giving spiritual guidance to the Christian community. I know that our people are very prayerful, very, very spiritual. From the many outings that I see them going to the pilgrimage center in Bonjongo, or going to the shrine, and all the spiritual activities that are taking place in the various parishes. But sometimes that spiritual energy, that spiritual activity is kind of, you get a feeling that there isn't proper guidance. And my role in the diocese is, as a retreat preacher, to give guidance, to give spiritual direction. So if Christians were to become more aware that there is such a thing as a retreat center where you go for preached retreats, not just a weekend a pilgrimage or so, but a preached retreat, 1 week long, and they could make use of this opportunity, it would be the best way of boosting my own work and contribution to the diocese.
Thank you so much, Monsignor. Do you have any special message you want to give the public, or any advice you want to give your Christians in the Diocese of Boya? For
a message, I would refer back to what our Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, said in his inaugural speech, in his first address to the Christian people. He said something citing St. Augustine, in which he mentioned, "For you, I am a bishop. With you, I am a Christian. This is my message, therefore, that we all recognize our basic belonging to the Christian community and to the church as Christians, and we should all treasure what we have received, and that is our faith as Christians. Having received this faith and living it, trying our best to live it, titles and honors and other things, they come secondary. They're in the secondary position, and so therefore, let's keep our minds fixed on the first and the most important thing, which is the most basic for us all.
Thank you, Monsignor Jude B. We wish you the best in your ministry.
Thank you very much, Kindness. We had 4 Monsignors. We could not reach out to all the 6, you know, but that kind of maybe bring them on board, so that we'll be talking about Monsignors, and there are some persons who might have not seen them for a very long time, especially those of our viewers of Mountain Echoes who are in the United States, those in UK, those in France, Germany, and the rest. You know, even those in Yaoundé, maybe they have not had opportunity to come down to the Diocese of Buea. Those were just 4 of them. They share their vocation stories and their own ideas as far as this whole thing is concerned. This whole honorary title given to them, Father Florentin. Listening to the 4 Monsignor who just spoke, well, what do you have for the public and the viewers of Mountain Echoes?
I think I would like to share my impressions as a priest. Yeah. I remember very well when we were in the seminary, first year philosophy. A formator told us, when you look at those who are in 4th year, you see how far you still have to go. And when they look at you, it reminds them how far they have gone. And I would like to apply that here. Looking at our elder brothers sharing their experiences from the years, Father Sebastian, for instance, talked about the years 1940s or 46, where he was still in primary school, taking us back into history. I think their experience makes me to understand how far I still have to go as a young priest. And it's an inspiration to me. I also like to say that the bottom line is that there are common traits. The vocation story or the vocation experiences which you have shared, they have common traits with almost that of every other person. Like mine also. Father Monsignor Moses Tazo talked about his attraction, his initial attraction as a young boy to the altar servants and all of that. I think that is the group within which at about 75% I received my own vocation. Having the opportunity to be close to the priest, seeing them preaching and making good points, praying and all of that, incensing. So I think those traits are always common. It reminded me also of some of the things I've experienced. But what I would like to say is that above all, it's a challenge and inspiration to me to let me know how far I still have to go.
Thank you very much. And to Mr. Bo, after listening to the 4 Monsignor, what do you have for the viewers?
I wish you. Thank you very much, Father, for that. I reflected sometimes when I was in the friary and in the seminary. There are sometimes you sit back in your room and ask if this is all of my life. We look at the priesthood, sometimes we look at them externally. They have several challenges. And it takes aspect of the grace of God to put on aspect of perseverance, resistance, and all that. When I listen to the challenges Monsignor Moses Tazo brought up, I said that was not easy. To get challenges from your parents, severe challenges.
We're expecting that after some years
you have
to come out.
The father thought that it was a contract after 3 years. It sounds interesting. Father, I was in Buea Town when he celebrated one of his anniversaries. It was not easy. At one point in time, they kept a girl waiting for him so that after that he could come and get married to. And then at one point in time he was locked, So there were several challenges, and that did not change his vocation. As for perseverance, continuity, and I really appreciate him for that. So definitely we see that when they used to say prayer for our priest, we pray for our priest, and I wish to recommend that. It is not only in the seminary that we have to pray for priests. The community should only see that there are persons, there are individuals who have carried on that sort of detachment and great sacrifice in the ministry. We need to pray for them and also appreciate a good number of them. So our community, in as much as they sacrifice for our own self, we should support, and we should also sacrifice for our spiritual life.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bo. There's something here for Father Florentine. Good evening to you guys in the studio. Please, who is a Monsignor in the Roman Catholic Church? This is Wamucho Rene Fro from my 16 Boya. Could you just, maybe we did that already, in a very few words, please? Time is not really our friend.
Yeah, Monsignor is a priest who, because of his remarkable service in the church, has been conferred an honorary title of a Monsignor, but he remains a priest and he is not a bishop. And there is a condition recently with the reform from Pope Francis in 2014 that he should be at least 65 years of age.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure we got you. Maybe Dr. Bate, after listening to the 4 Monsignors, what do you have? What do you picked out from there, and how do you think we could maybe support maybe priests and others who are there and will be live for the program tomorrow?
Well, before I take the question further, we're using one word. I'm sure most of them have not gotten it clear.
Yeah.
Investiture.
Sure, yeah.
Investiture is just a word that simply means that it's a formal ceremony where a priest is being conferred the title of, officially conferred the title of a Monsignor after an appointment by the Pope. So that's the meaning of the investiture. Because I'm sure that if we don't take this terminology very clearly, people will think that they are going to wed, like they are wearing you know, when they're ordaining a priest, they change the stole from looking sideways, they put it correctly, and then they now put the chasuble. No, we're not going to have that kind of ceremonial for the investiture of a Monsignor. I think we needed to get that very clear. When the 4 exchange, fortunately, I think that I've had a very close touch with all the 6. I have been a mastermind to all of them. I've worked with some of them in almost all of them in the different parishes that they have worked. Apart from Monsignor Moses I've not worked with him, but I worked with Father John Chamda when he was in Mamfe. I was one of his key masterminds on all his trek outstations. I also came down to live with my uncle, who was a policeman in Mondemba. I met him. He was at that time in Ikasa. And then when I came to Limbe to do high school, I met him there as parish priest of Newtown. I came to Moscow. All of that. I think that what I pick is their steadfastness, their faith, and the courage and prayer life that they kept to surmount all the challenges that they came across.
Okay.
So I think that this ceremony of tomorrow is going to teach a lot of people, like we've already been saying. And I just want people not to get mixed up. It doesn't change the function of the priest at all. He is still a priest. But on special occasions, the bishop can, like I'm sure the recent confirmation ceremony, the bishop was really looking there, because I remember on one of the fora, it was sent that the bishop will not be there for the mass. It will be Father Jude of Bishop Program would take over. But when we came for the mass, we saw the bishop himself. Maybe if this ceremony had taken place, we would have had one of the Monsies. But for their story, I think that I just see one thing, that when you are following God, like this woman in Monyenge says, for follow God is not easy at all. You tie hard for the Christian road. They have really been very perseverant in this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Bate. I'm sure Father Florentine will just give us a little rundown of the activity, the ceremony of tomorrow.
Yeah, the ceremony, like Doctor said, the ceremony tomorrow is a special one. And I would just like to say that at the beginning of Mass, during procession, the Monsignors will stand as they have been standing before the bishop with the appropriate insignia. But before the homily, before the readings, there is something that has to take place. The Monsignors will be called, and each of the letters, because each of them has a decree from the Holy Father, those letters will be read. And after the homily, will go to the rite of investiture itself, where the bishop will give them the biretta and the letter in their hand. So just to give us a foretaste of what we have tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sutation. So maybe time is not really a friend. We have for the next program, which will begin immediately after this. We want to thank Mr. Bo for coming, Father Florentine for taking time to be with us, Panji Kang and Dr. Bate. We shall be meeting tomorrow at the Co-Cathedral site at 9 a.m. For the ceremony. Come and join us. Thank you very much, Mr. Yannick Funky, in charge of programs in the DIRO TV. Thank you very much, JC and Kindness. Thank you very much, Madam Joyce Bongs, Father Solomon Ekundi Lyonga, Communications Director, and Bishop Michael Bibi, #1 supporter and promoter of DMRO TV. May God bless you. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the Co-Cathedral site. Come and see your priest being vested with the Monsignor titles. Thank you very much. May God bless you. See you tomorrow.